p.m. to 6 p.m. for a dynamic blend of ideas, passion, and energy. Unleash the power of youth perspective. Don't just listen, be part of the conversation that shapes the future. Youth Voices, igniting change one voice at a time. Are you ready?
When I look at where I'm coming from, I know I'm blessed, and I close my eyes and smile. Sometimes I feel like the richest man in Babylon, and I've done my best. When I look at where I'm coming from, I know I'm blessed, and I close my eyes and smile. Sometimes I feel like the richest man in Babylon, and I've done my best. So everything's alright inside. Oh, every morning I rise, I stare at the sun. I know it is a blessing. So when the evening comes, I lift up my eyes to this. I'm blessed, oh man. With my two hands in the air as far as I can. Yeah, as far as I can. I can, yeah. My two hands in the air as far as I can.
Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Your Voices. Of course, I am your host, Mr. Edisa Eugene, and it's definitely another a pleasure to be in the house with you this afternoon. Of course, we are continuing in conversation as usual, just celebrating our young persons and highlighting their achievements. This afternoon is a bit different, where we have moved away from the arts and music. And this afternoon, it's solely about sports, as we are now going into more of the sporting months, I would say. First, before I continue, let me just say Happy Youth Month to all of our young people in the sweet country of St. Lucia. Of course, the month of April is being observed as Youth Month. So happy Youth Month to everyone. This afternoon in studio with me, I have two young men, and of course, a few of us might be familiar with them as they are players on the Soufriere Football Team. And in person, I have them as Troy Simon, who is one of the most senior players here, and we have Mr. Wendell Joseph. So, good afternoon, and tell us, how are you?
Uh, I'm doing great today. Liverpool lost today, so I'm happy. We just today we have a little rest today. Well, not a rest, but tomorrow we have a big match, so we're just trying to focus for tomorrow. Like we work hard too, as always. Yeah, so I'm good.
Okay, and who are you? Who's speaking right now?
Yeah, so I know that is who know me as Dell. If you don't know Wendell, that is Dell. I'm a centre back for Soufriere. Um, yeah, that's basically it. You should know about me.
Okay, so we just heard Wendell Joseph, and right now, Troy Simon, how are you?
Well, I'm doing fine at the moment. Like Del said, just we're in good spirits. Looking forward to our game tomorrow. It's a must-win game. We know it's going to be a crucial one because both teams lost the first game. So all in all, we're just looking to execute and go out to get a win.
Okay, so as you heard, of course, both of the guys mentioned that tomorrow there is a big game, and of course, we'll be diving into more discussion with that later on during the show. But just to get our guys a little more comfortable, because I think both of them are timid individuals. So this afternoon, like when our flyer, sorry, was going around, you would have seen that the theme would have been navigating the journey from the grassroots to semi-pro. Why? Because of course, for both of you, the football journey didn't just began on the sport. However, when you were younger, that's when you grew up with it, and now you both are semi-professional players. So, I will start with you, Troy, because you are the most senior one.
Right, right.
How does it feel though to be part of this football journey for so long? I know you have represented Soufriere on quite a number of teams, even with your club. So how does it feel?
Well, I think it's a pleasure to be, part of so many teams, different compositions as well as in the past. It will be more kind of like senior players, and then you wouldn't have much youngsters in terms of the composition of the team.
Right.
As opposed to presently, it's we have more of a younger team and not so many senior guys. So I think the transition is good. We're moving into the right direction. As you can see, the other teams, it's basically the same for the other teams. It's more of a young base and maybe one or two senior players, which is a good blend as well,
Right.
because you need the experience so that the younger ones can learn and hopefully put it into effect.
Right. Now, with that, you mentioned about the younger players. I
Mhm.
know that we have a few teams who doubt some of our younger players, and with you growing up with having so much experience, I think your family has that football background,
Right.
right? So, would you say that you think it was because of that, them knowing your background, that you got more exposure, or was it just natural talent growing?
Um, I think it was natural talent. Um, I think it had to do with the passion towards the game, because I think in the past, not to put down the younger players presently, but I think in the past players were more passionate towards the game.
Okay.
So it was more or less based on raw talent when you will look at it.
Okay. And of course, right now I just heard Troy. So obviously, I will be asking you, Wendell, the same question. Um, I know you might not have had so much experience compared to Troy. However, you are one of those in the back with Troy at every game right now. How does it feel to first be playing with such a senior player?
Well, growing up, I always looked at Troy and Barry as two of the best in Soufriere at the back, and now growing up, having the experience to play with him, um, I see myself only reaching on his level, or maybe even better.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you can basically say, I guess, Troy inspired you because you both are
yeah,
defenders.
yeah. I could say Troy and Barry inspired me. Yeah.
Okay, nice. So back to you, Wendell. Of course, with you having the experience right now, I know again you are not one to really speak on the field. However, when it comes to you doing your part, you do it on the field. And with you not having so much experience, but having such a big task, because being a defender, that's a very big role on the field. How do you even feel?
Well, going out, Troy was injured for a long while,
Mhm.
So the coaches always told me, although I'm young, I'm one of the senior players at the back. So I'm in charge. So growing up with all those youngsters around me playing, I almost had to, you know, be the senior, grow. I had to grow up by force. I never got the chance to grow with someone.
By
So
force, is it?
yeah, by force. So I had to be the elder on the field to teach them.
Okay. And of course, with that, I mean, for those who know, I am also the team manager, so I am very observant as to the runnings of the team. And I think Troy stands as one of the most influential persons. Yes, he doesn't speak, but when it comes to persons actually looking up to Troy, we have a lot of persons within the team who does that. And also with you, Wendell, you are one of those that you might not hear it often, but I have heard at least two players saying that, they like how they'll do this and they like how they'll do that, and they're trying to actually meet up to your standard right now. So you see, there is a cycle with when you are trying to do your best and when you are focused on something, you would find a lot of persons wanting to not just be like you but learn from you. And I mean, allow me to just point out another player, John Gaston. If anyone from Soufriere knows John Gaston, we know John is another one who doesn't speak. I think it might be a pun for speaking. The boy doesn't speak. The only person I think that's talking is Myron.
Yeah, man, what a road.
But if you know John, you would know that when it comes to the field, that's a whole different person compared to somebody you want to hold in a conversation.
Mhm.
So he's one of those I think who look up to the two of you and try his best to put in a lot of work. So again, kudos to the two of you and continue to do the good work. Of course, Sufra is behind you. Tomorrow we have a big game, enormous game, I would say. And so, of course, we are looking forward to tomorrow. But there's so much more that we need to dive into before getting to the hot part, which is tomorrow. Because, of course, again, we need to understand how you got there and what's going on with you. So, I want both of you to share with us what has been your earliest memory of playing football and how did it shape your journey to where you are now? It takes some time to think. So let me just repeat it.
Earliest memory.
Your earliest memory of playing football and how it shaped your journey right now. Because remember, you both
Earliest-
started from grassroots and now you are semi-professionals.
Earliest memory, I can't formulate that one there. Earliest memory.
My earliest plan. Well,
Like,
in the start, I was never really a football fan. Well, I used to watch it on TV, but I was never really a footballer. I used to be a cricketer before.
Mm-hmm.
But I realize cricket doesn't have like a lot of energy. Cricket don't have enough running and physical activity for me. So I used to see my friends playing football all the time, and I just to try something. And then I found out that I was good. I was good enough. And in primary school, we had a team. So for primary school, we won a championship. And then under 15, I lost my first tournament for Soufriere. Under 15 tournament, we got to the final where we lost to before North, I think. We lost that day. It's the first time I ever cried for football. I feel that's my earliest memory. It should be my earliest memory.
So you said you left cricket for football.
Yeah.
That's a big one. I mean, okay. Because for me, you said it was more about you running. You love to be a little more active. I mean,
Yeah.
I agree. That's a good reasoning. But don't you think maybe football has more work? Just a question on the spot.
I like the work. That's the thing.
Okay.
I like the work.
passion came with it one time. You would say.
Yeah, and the football have more girls too. So
I figured
Oh,
that
yes.
other part too. Please. I figured that other part too.
you look at that outside.
Thanks for that commercial break there. But let me hear you, Troy. What do you think has been your earliest memory?
yeah, well, just as Dell, I started playing cricket
Okay.
before I actually played football. Yeah, when I think the first time I started playing football, like I just forgot about cricket. Like the passion. I don't know if because maybe my my relatives before, like my uncles and them,
Mhm.
they all, well, not all, majority of them played football. So I don't know if it's something that's inbound. But in terms of the earliest memory, I think my first gold medal. Well, the first time we emerged triumphant in a tournament was in primary school.
Okay.
Yeah, we won. We won a finals against Vieux at the Philip Masley grounds. And then from that, it's just been progress after progress. I played for the under 19 Super. We also won that tournament in the year we played. I think Mark was the coach.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the earliest.
All right. So, of course, for those of you just joining us, we have in studio Troy Simon and Wendell Joseph, who are both semi-professional players from our community of Soufriere, and they both are representing us tomorrow at a big game against La Clery in Denry. So, of course, persons who are able to go out and support, feel free to do so. Um, No, I do not have any information as to how you're gonna get there, but you can make some arrangements just to go out and support the team. So back to you, Wendell and Troy. Of course, when it comes to you being a player, especially now you're being a semi-professional player, of course you didn't just get there with the blink of an eye. There were many challenges, there were many setbacks in order for you to make it this far. We do have a few persons who would wish they were selected to be a semi-professional player like you right now. So, what would you say has been one of the setbacks that although it kept you back a bit, it was a huge challenge, but it actually aided in your improvement.
Setbacks.
Just any
No,
challenges. What are some of the challenges that you think that you have faced as a player that has helped you reach this far?
well, I think to me, fitness wise, that has been, I wouldn't say an hindrance, but in terms of the commitment, like as opposed to before, less responsibilities, you have more time on your hands, so you could maybe train twice, 3 times a day. Yeah, twice, 3 times a day, as opposed to now, like you work, you have to work. By the time you leave work, sometimes you may not have the time, ample time to attend training. So I think in terms of a setback, that's what I would say.
Okay, so it's basically more about being committed for you. And I think with commitment, that's a big part of it. For those of you listening, of course, when it comes to sports, not just sports, I think trying to achieve your goal or something in life, you need to remain committed to it. And to see that sometimes, even when you come from work, you're very tired and you just have to pick yourself up and say, hey, I really want this, so I have to do it. So, of course, I definitely understand that was a big step. So how about you, Wendell?
Well, a setback, I would say setback, like maybe around the age of 15, 16. After that under 15 tournament in Soufriere, there was like absolutely no football, like for maybe 5, 6 years, no football in Soufriere, no tournaments. So, also that was part of COVID also. So, you know, so there was nothing really for footballers to take on, So we were just coming on the field, take a sweat, go home. There was nothing to look forward to. But now there's lots of tournaments to play, lots of games. And I know that before we didn't have that, but now I think that's like it's a little too much these days, because every other week or every week we have a match. It's a bit tiring, but we love the sport,
I
so we
think
do
it
it.
all boils down again to commitment,
Yeah.
because you are now in a whole different environment, a whole different scope of life, and then of course you're not expecting that your life will be so busy, because now you have to be super committed to being a semi-professional player. For those who know, I'm not going to detail, but yes, and so I definitely understand. Now I know Troy is a panther. I know you're a fifth player. Now we're not getting too clubby here because
Yeah.
we're trying to be careful. But one question: did any of you start with a football academy?
No,
No,
No.
no, we didn't have we didn't have a football academy per se, like as to what Coach Gilroy is doing presently. We didn't have that. It's more or less like, come on the field, sweat. Mr. Alexander would do, some stuff with us, but not like regular stuff. Like, it's a consistent thing.
Okay.
So we didn't have like an academy. It was just sweat.
How
So it's
about you,
basically
Bill?
just raw talent.
Because you're the younger one. So for me, I think we both have understood that Troy is your talent. That's a family thing. How about you?
yeah. Well, for me, there was Coach Gilroy had this grassroots program, but I never went to it.
Okay.
So sometimes Mr. Kendall Alexander, like Troy, I used to take us to the field and just have us play around, help us sharpen up our skills, teach us the basics, and that's how I learned
I guess I
from a
can
young player.
say that although it wasn't an official academy, I would still put it as an academy in the terms where you went and you were learning from him and he was helping you.
Well, yeah.
develop even more skills. So, with that, I would pose the question: what would you say to some of our listeners, some parents who might be listening right now, would be some advantages of having your child or even anyone who wishes to further themselves in football to join an academy?
Yeah, well, it's a good initiative to like have your child engage in sports on the whole. But with regards to the academy, um, it nurtures them from a tender age. So like basic stuff, passing, controlling. When you learn it at a tender age, like it becomes a part of you. So when you get to, let's say, 10, 11, you start to work on, you start to show signs of improvement, and then you start to work on the more complicated things. Also, I think it's good, it's good for the child to at least it would have them engage in some form of sporting activity. Keep them mobile, as opposed to maybe if they were idle somewhere and keep have the parents' mind like wondering where they are. At least their mind would be at peace. They know that the child every Saturday is in the academy and then starts at starts at one time and ends at a time. So I think it's a good initiative all in all.
All right. And any comments from you, Wendell, on this one?
Well, Troy basically brushed up on everything, but I also think that joining the academy will teach the child to be more disciplined from a young age, teach them how to work a team. So going to school, they would maybe listen to their teachers more in class and stuff. So yeah, joining the academy is a good thing.
Okay. And thank you so much. Both of you, I think, gave out some very great points in terms of having your child included in an academy on, and even if someone is looking forward to being a semi-professional footballer, the importance of even practice, because of course with these small steps you are able to not only develop the skills but the discipline, like you mentioned, Wendell, that you would need in order to get there. Now these are some big steps, and of course both of you work and now being semi-professionals. Now I want persons to understand the difference between being a semi-professional and it's been some normal footballer that may be doing a futsal on the field every now and
Right.
then. So, which one of you would want to take that on for me?
Yeah, I think with the with the semi-professional initiative, like it comes with terms and conditions. So let's say, for instance, in the past, without the confinements and restrictions from the FA, we
Right.
would go out and play like all over the island, or there's a little tournament taking place. You could just engage in that. But with the semi-pro, I think it covers all aspects: discipline, punctuality, um, not just the fact that you're getting paid to play, which is good because before it was just passion, and then the money wasn't so much of an issue. But yeah, basically,
Yeah.
I think that's it.
You covered most of it, but I want them to understand also that semi-pro, you're being semi-pro players now. This is a job. This is business.
All right.
So your life is not just like I show up when I want or I decide to walk out when I want, because there are measures being put in place. Unlike for a normal game, you might just come, you feel you walk out, they just say you're not playing another game, but that's not how it works. So again, I want us to understand now that we are talking to some big top boys right now in studio, because a lot of persons are not where they are today. So again, big up to the two of you. Of course, it's not just about the money. For me, both of you have the passion for it. So big up to both of you. So of course, we have a few persons in the chat just sharing some love. So I will take some time to highlight them. Of course, we have the usual Miss Wilma Andrew in the chat. And obviously she's here this afternoon because I'm pretty sure she remembered Troy is in studio, so she's here. So she said, all the best to you guys. Keep pushing and stay focused. We have Bill Stanislas coming in and saying, big up guys. We have Miss Annelle Seville saying to give you some water. So I'm trying to organize that for you. We also have our very own big sponsor, Big Up Yourself, Just Jerseys, Mr. McGarren Phillips, saying, all the best tomorrow, guys. Let's show them the team and togetherness which made you guys Black Hat champions. Thank you so much, Mr. Philip. And then we have Miss Anna again just supporting McGarren's comment. And we have Miss Amenta Imam saying, all the best. Team Soufriere. Now I know Amenta Amenta is one of Troy fans. So big up yourself, Amenta, because look, you have Troy laughing in the studio right now. Yes, Miss Wima coming back in. Big up my boy Troy. Love you loads. So again, big up to all of you in the chat. Thank you for the love the guys are receiving right now. And to those of you maybe listening to us on the bus going home and you're unable to comment, of course, we know that you are there and we feel your presence. Thank you so much. And I see someone saying, Edisa, I need a ride tomorrow with the players. Make it happen. Of course, sorry, I cannot grant that wish. However, feel free to take a cool walk to Denver tomorrow in full support. I'm just joking, my girl, but I'll link you. I'll link you, not a problem. I mean, if we get a few persons who are fully interested, that could be arranged. But as of right now, I don't have that power. But I'll link you, my girl. But of course, it has been great discussion with Troy and Wendell thus far, both of which are players of the Soufriere team. You played Black Hat, you played Island Cup. So we're going to discuss a little about these two, and then we will dive into tomorrow's game. So first, we started Island Cup, and then we had to take a break in order to transition into the Black Hat.
Right.
So I know Black Hat was more of the hype for everyone. So tell me, how did it feel? First of all, having to stop Island Cup for a little while, because I know you guys had two different coaches.
Yeah.
So we could only imagine how the transition had to be for both of you. How did it feel having to take a break from coach number one and then going into coach number two, which may have applied different pressures on both of you? How did it feel?
Well, going from the Island Cup to Black Hat, with two different coaches, I think that actually wasn't a bad thing. It gave us an edge, I think, because one coach has his philosophy and the other one has the next philosophy. So, with our Coach Nehemiah the fitness is number one component. So he made sure we were fit, and I would say Mr. Kendall Alexander taught us a lot of tactical plays. So if they could come together, it would be good. But both of them, it actually worked out well for us. I wouldn't say it was a bad thing.
Okay. And I'll just take your comment on that because I see Troy's recovering. But with that, I mean, I could only imagine what it was like for you guys. And your mindset too would have to be shifted with both coaches. Because one, you have two different personalities to work with and whatnot. So I think while to some it may have been very destructive and all, it kind of aided in the player's development, having to learn different ways to deal with people and everything. So that I can commend. But let's go into Black Hat, which was the hype. Black Hat, there, I think nobody still cannot believe Soufriere won Black Hat, but just to remind you guys, Soufriere won Black Hat. So, how did it feel? I mean, going through a knockout tournament, not being knocked out. How did it feel? I think I want your response, Dale. Just make mention, guys. I still don't know where the trophy is up to like today.
I
Sure, you have it? Okay. All right.
Yeah, going into Black Hat, the coach gave us one objective is to play the last game at 8:30, I think, or 9 o'clock at every day for 4 days.
For 4 games.
4 games, we played the last game. So that means the first game we have to win, the second game we have to win, the third game we have to win, and to play the last game on the fourth day, you have to be in the finals. So that was the real objective. And going through it, winning the first game, we started to believe in ourselves. And then after knocking out Grosley, we really saw that we have a shot going the whole way. And we saw the crowd behind us, the whole of Soufriere behind us. So we were doing it for the community at that moment. And then Larry game, we won the Larry game, and then from there we said that we are not going to boss it without coming back with the trophy.
Right.
And that's what we did.
And that was the mindset throughout, eh?
Yeah.
So, of course, I think what was our mantra while it was for the community, what persons didn't know the inside nitty-gritties were, we kept being our heads that, hey, we have 4 games to play at 8:30, 4 games to play at 8:30. So no matter what anybody said, we had already blocked that out because for us, we focused on the 4 games we had to play at 8:30. So even when the organizers maybe would have shifted the game to whatever time, to us, we still cared about, we know it's just at the final game, so we played it no mind. So how about you, Troy? I know you were part of the setup, however, due to your injuries, you were unable to actually contribute as you would wish. But
Right.
you were always there in full support with the team. Just being someone on the outside, and I wouldn't say outside really, but not being able to play, but being there as a senior player on the side providing guidance. How did you feel?
Well, to be honest, I was kind of, upset that I couldn't be part of such, such a successful process. But at the same time, I was deep within, my heart. I know my heart was with the guys on the field for every game, like that. Like Dale said, the objective was to go out there and win every game because in Black Hat, every game is a final. You lose and you go home. So, with that being said, also I think what contributed immensely to us being successful was the like the team cohesion, the chemistry. The guys were like a unit. There was not any quarreling, trying to put down players. It was
Right.
just like one mind and one mission. So, despite not being part of the team on the field, I was very elated that we emerged triumphant for the first time, which is history for us. And this year, hopefully, we can retain that title and be consistent in terms of winning. Because like I said to the players, we have a very young team, a very a young group of talented players. So I think we could, once we remain together, I think we could go on and dominate, not to front ourselves, or get ahead of ourselves,
Right.
but in terms of consistency, I think we could go on to win, well, and dominate, for a few seasons.
Okay. And thank you for that. And of course, Troy, despite the fact you were not able to play, of course, you were part of the success. You were there in full support. You provided a lot of tips, a lot of guidance. Big up, Dale, for listening. One thing with Dale, in as much as he does listen. So that's one thing I did give him. Your guidance really aided in his development as a player, having to step up and being the most senior one at the back, having to even um, how could I say it? Nurture other players at the back. And a few times I did hear his voice on the field and sees Oxavdale, Paka Pale. So again, big up to both of you. Now I am busy. You all might be wondering, what am I looking at? For those of you watching your screen, what am I looking at? I'm just scrolling through the football group, and there was a voice note from a guy named Maju, one of our keepers. I'm looking for it. But I came across a message where they're telling the boys in the chat, if y'all didn't play Black Hat, don't message in the group. And I mean,
Wow.
that was the fun, just to show that was the fun, that was the camaraderie that we had that really pushed us to being champions. Despite everything, I think we had the vibe, we stayed focused, we joked around and whatnot. I think one of our biggest memories, sorry to put it out there, I'll not say the names, most embarrassing memories, but one of those that will always stick with me is once when we were traveling back from a game we were we were traveling back from a game, and could you imagine how powerful one fat could be?
Yo.
That actually made the whole bus sick. Where you had persons vomiting in other persons' locks and all that. Now it wasn't my locks, just to put that out there. It wasn't my locks, but I think that was something that will always stay with me. And that happened. And in usual cases, you would get people maybe cursing one another and upset, but there was none of that. It was just like funny at the time, and I think all because we have that relationship with each other, we were able to just laugh it out. Because I mean, imagine you're on your way home, you just finished play a game. I think did we win that game? I think we won that game, and we were heading back home in full excitement. Then one person just had to spoil it for everyone, and having your colleague to just finish eating a roti that to him would have tasted so good, and that stood in your belly there so much that you end up vomiting in one person's locks on one person's shirt. It was just a mess, but it was a great memory. I think that is one thing that will always stick with me. Even our Sulphur Spring baths, those who came along, I say, that's I think that's one of the worst nightmares, but one of the funniest things, having to bring big men to the Sulphur Springs, but watching them behave like little children that never see black water. So that was actually one of the greatest memories, well, two of the greatest memories that I've had with the team when it comes to us being off the field. And that's just good vibes. Again, if persons understand the relationship that we share with each other, then they would understand why we even sometimes just laugh things out. Now, that was Black Hat for us. We're moving more to Island Cup. Again, Island Cup, we did not emerge victorious in terms of we didn't get the first place trophy, but to me, we still won. Why I would say that? Because we had full control of that game.
Right.
To me, we had full control of the game. We were the more possessive team. Possessive meaning we were the ones with the ball most of the times. It's just that we fell short. Of course, the game went to penalties, and then penalties is something that is very unpredictable.
Right.
You might be the best player, and it can go wrong for you at the end. So, of course, I know our community was mad. Now, our community can be mad, but then it's a whole different thing when you're on the field and when you're off the field. So, with that, I mean, we had two of our, was it just two of our boys? Two of our best boys actually throwing the goals away, and it was like, what? And it was questionable. Everybody was mad, and everybody was saying, like, this and that. But let me tell you a little secret. A lot of the people giving us stock don't even know how to side football. Or up to like today, they went through Grassroots, they went through all kind of things, and they still cannot. Yet still, not saying that no effort could have been put into it, but who are we to judge the guys?
Right.
The anxiety that comes with it and everything when you're looking at the ball, like, boy, that goal depends on me, that win depends on me, and the pressure that you feel, it's a lot.
Right.
And so I will still say congratulations to us. We came a long way, even becoming second. A lot of teams couldn't make it to the top, and we still did. And guess where we are now in a whole Premier League. So what can we see? So now we're going into the hype of things that everyone is more focused on right now. Semi-pro. Like I said earlier, right now we have big boys in the studio. It's not just Troy Simon anymore. It is Mr. Troy Simon representing Soufriere, and we have Mr. Wendell Joseph. So, Mr. Wendell Joseph, with you having to step up so much, you made it to Black Hats, you made it to what's the other one? Island Cup. And now we're at semi-pro. Tell us how it was. I mean, we lost our first game. How it was for you?
Semi-pro.
Yes, semi-pro. Our first game. Just to put it out there, just before we begin, we lost our game not because of anything. I feel that's another game that we had control of, but we allowed Canaries to shine. Just we're not out there.
Oh, yeah.
So tell us.
Yeah, the semi-pro is a whole new settings,
It is.
Semi-pro, you have to put in more work. You have to be more disciplined, more punctual, and everyone's always looking at you. Even off the pitch, it's still being looked at. So there's no freedom.
Like that,
Yeah, but the first game, I think, yeah, we had lots of injuries. We lost some players. Some players are not there, but I think that that first game we had to come on victorious. But we started too slow. Yeah, we were. I don't know why, but next game we're gonna have to start faster because we know about Laclery. We played against them lots of times, so I know they're gonna come out because they lost the first game. We also lost too, so we're gonna come out too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about you, Troy? Of course, with tomorrow's game and everything, I know you being one of the most senior players, you would have been mentally prepared for it already because you already know what to expect. But for you, maybe behind your head, you want to know whether the players are fully ready, whether they're focused. And you might be the one really telling persons what you think they should do because you are the captain, anyways. Just to put that out there, you are the captain on the field. So what does it look like for you for tomorrow?
Well, coming off the first game, I think you guys were well after the first game. We felt like we could have done better, which we could have, to be honest. But we can't let that break us down or be a hindrance in terms of us moving forward. The first game, well, like Dale said, we started off like too slow. Came out of the blocks too slow, and then I think football is too harsh. So I think Canaries, they were the better team in the first half, but second half we should have gone on to win that game. However, that's behind us, and we're looking forward to tomorrow. So for tomorrow's game, like Dale said, we already know what to expect. We've played Laclery a few times before. Um, I think once we remain compact, take our chances, be a bit more clinical in terms of scoring our goals, I don't see why we're not able to defeat them.
Yeah, I think we will. It's not. I think we will defeat them because I mean, we if we remain focused and we go with our common goals like we usually do, that game is definitely in our hands. But again, we cannot do it all alone. We need the support. We need the community to come out and just not try to break the team down, but to uplift the team and let us know that you are there because the support sometimes is needed just so that the players get a little more boosted when they're on the field. Now, allow me to highlight again some of our persons in the comments. So we have Miss Vanessa Phillips saying, that is it, my boys. That is it, my boys. All the best tomorrow. We have Mr. Manchester Casabo, big up yourself, saying good day, one and all. Mr. McGarry and Philip coming back and saying big up to the coaching and management team too. I know there are a lot of critics out there. Sometimes even me give my constructive criticism, but holding this young team together. So big up you again, Mr. Philip, and let me highlight again the last part which says sometimes even me give constructive criticism. A lot of us don't know what constructive criticism is. We feel we can just come and bash the team and everybody's supposed to take it in. No, we have to ensure that whatever you are telling the team, ensure that it is something that we could really take in nicely and try to fix at the end of the day that would help keep the team together. So again, when you are coming with your criticism, we're not saying you can talk, but just hold it down. And then we have Mr. Manchester Casabon just saying, of course, tell them again that we are champions. Soufriere all the way. We have Mr. Neil James coming in. Big up you, Neil James, of course. I guess he's hearing full support, not just of the team, but his younger brother, Mr. Wendell Joseph. And we have Yati Boots. I don't know why his name is Yati Boots, mercy Lord. We have him here supporting the boys as usual. And we have Miss Philip coming back, Miss Vanessa Philip saying Team Soufriere all the way. So as you can see, the love is there and the community is behind us. But it's just a matter of executing and making us proud as a community. And big up again to the coaching staff and the management team. These are persons who usually go unnoticed when it comes to running the team and adding to the success of our team. So I would like to take some time to highlight a few persons that I know who have been in the forefront of this, starting from before we had some league members like Miss Alexia Sendor, we have Miss Liz Campbell, and a few others on that committee. Then we have coaching staff like Mr. Nehemiah Senjo, we have Mr. Kendall Alexander, we have Mr. Liam Parker, we have Mr. Manix Felix, you have myself as manager, no need for a big up right now. And then you have Mr. Clayton William, Miss Shadi, who falls in sometimes when Mr. Clayton is not around. And you know, the love is there, everybody is doing it. And for some, they might say, c'est moi ça fait pas pour là, pour moi même pas fait pour là, mais c'est toujours là ça là, et ça ça n'a continué à faire pour là. Mais ça pas pour l'argent. It's all for the love for the sport. For me, it's my passion. I love dealing with young men more than young women, all because I think their mindsets are different, and just football on a whole is my thing. So for me, I love being around the team. I love this team to my bone marrow. God alone would understand. But again, Team Soufriere, we have Miss Iana. Yes, Iana has been here. Y'all, I just forgot her comment. Iana, best luck tomorrow, Team Soufriere. Big up you, Iana, and thank you so much for staying locked in to our show this afternoon. So, of course, we are winding down with time and we have 5 minutes left. And I know we have a big game tomorrow. We have to discuss, we have things to do. And so, as we are about to end, I would like both of you to just give us some words of encouragement to some of the young players who are looking up to both of you right now, who would love to be semi professionals in the future. What would you say to them?
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be like, football wise, whatever
Just
it is,
athletes.
yeah, whatever it is that they like aspire to be. They just have to be focused, remain adamant and be consistent in terms of, reaching that aspiration. Because, along the way it's not a smooth road. You will have like, impediments. Sometimes you may feel like the weight is too much to carry, but you must just never give up. Always keep the faith and remember that, you'll make it one day.
Right. Thank you for that. Big up yourself, Troy. How about you, Wendell?
To the young athletes, I like to say that you should. The number one thing is being disciplined. You should always be disciplined. Consistency is key. When you start, don't give up. Even though you're on the bench, even though they don't play you, that's okay. Don't give up. Yeah, and also stay in school. Stop the violence, guys. There's too much violence going on. Stop the violence. Say no to drugs. That's all I have to say.
That's all you have to see. And is there anyone right now that you feel like you want to big up in the process, whether it was a few persons who aided in your development, a few persons you feel like you want to highlight right now? Now is the time to do it.
Yeah, I'd like to say big up the whole of. I big up my whole coaching staff. Big up my manager. It's Edisa Eugene. Big up, big up our bus driver, Hungry. Big up Mr. Kendall Alexander. At a young age, he taught me how to play football. Big up my brother Neil and Bradley. He plays for Black Panthers. Growing up, they also taught me how to play football. I like to say big up my mother. My sister always there for me at the matches, encouraging me. Although my mother wants me to stop playing football because I'm always injured, but don't worry, ma'am. We have insurance now, so we're safe.
I know it's when they will deal with you when you get home, but that's for another show. And you, Troy?
For me, like you see, like two numbers to mention.
Two numbers to mention. Let me tell you, you have 2 minutes to do so.
Yeah, well, kudos, to my queen, my mom, the madam. Despite the fact they both, trying to discourage me to call it an end to my football career. As Del said, because of the injuries.
Be mindful. You know when you'll go both of them out there.
To all the coaches in the past too that helped, that contributed towards the development well, to my development. The players, our present coaching staff. Just say kudos to all of them. Also, to the fans. We are very passionate fans, and then, like you said earlier, the constructive criticism part. They're so passionate. So sometimes when we lose or when we disappoint them, they just come bashing. But we have to learn to absorb it and deal with it, like in a positive way, because it's not like they mean bad for us. They have high expectations of us. It's the right way to put it. So we just have to, I guess, keep delivering and making them happy, which is by winning
Right.
our games.
So, of course, thank you to both of you, Troy Simon and Wendell Joseph. Of course, like I told you earlier, these are two individuals that don't speak, hey. But I had to take them out of their comfort zone because I believe not in just your sports development, but a holistic development. And so, with that, my boys need to be able to speak, and I am happy that my boys were able to go through this interview, putting away the shyness and just being themselves. So, of course, big up to the two of you. Keep on doing what you do. I am proud of both of you. And, of course, remain focused. Do not let the football get to you guys. Well, Troy, senior. But Wendell, I know you go out, you see ladies, the funds are there, but you gotta be mindful.
Please,
You have to be mindful that sometimes you have to be focused, my boy. And that's not just for Wendell. That was just a general statement.
For sure.
I mean, for all the boys, even focused guys. At the end of the day, we have a common goal. This is not just for the community, but this is also for ourselves. You are doing this for you. And I want to make mention that we right now have a few of our guys who are called up to train in the national team.
Right.
And these are the kind of opportunities that come with it when you remain focused and committed and disciplined in whatever that you do. So again, big up to all of you, Soufriere team, the management team, the coaching staff, and the players themselves. And big up to you, our fans. We really do appreciate you. We know that you are there. And of course, keep on supporting us. We love you. Yes, Troy.
As you made mention of our players being called to the national setup, I just want to make mention of, Imani Busha, despite the fact, he transferred and left us. I think maybe the government or somebody has to intervene because he's a bright prospect. We cannot.
It's Troy calling out it.
We cannot keep him, on the island too much. We need to have his talent, exposed on the international scene. So, if anyone listening,
they're listening, Troy.
Any person in high authority, Imani Butcher, we need to harness his talent and try to make the best out of it. At least, give him that opportunity to see how well he can make the best out of it.
Of course, thank you so much for that, Troy. Of course, again, like I told you, Troy Palais. Let's say they put Troy Palais. So, like you heard it from Troy himself, as a senior player, he sees the talent and he believes that he needs more exposure. And of course, big up to you, Imani. You have been doing so great. And the community is still with you. We still love you. Even though you transferred to La Prairie, we still love you. Then a thing tomorrow we beat you, but we fall in love again. We move. So big up you. And of course, to the persons listening, if you are able to just get our young persons exposed, provide them with more opportunities, please do so. And if you don't know how to contact them, of course, I am here as a team manager. Feel free to go through me in order to get through my boys. And yes, we can arrange anything when it comes to my guys. Of course, we are also seeking full support. If you want to sponsor with monetary, whatever it is, with some words of advice, you want to come and speak in with the team, not a problem. But of course, just let us know when you are ready. So big up to all of you again who stayed locked in with us from the start to the end of our show this evening. We love you. We know that you are there. And big up to the two of you again. Thank you for joining us on Your Voices. It is always a pleasure catching up with young minds. And continue to do what you do. Remain focused, like I said a while ago. And keep inspiring others to do great. So, of course, thank you again, everyone. And, of course, I am your host, Miss Edisa Eugene, staying locked in with you. But right now, I have to sign out. I have other commitments. So, see you next week. Yeah.
That's it.
My two hands in the air as far as I can.